Lyne Barlow, 39, initially targeted friends and family and used their savings before setting up an independent travel agency in which she fraudulently sold holidays at knockdown prices. The deals, described by a local travel industry source as being too good to be true, included a 5-star all-inclusive week in Dubai for just £500. Inquiries found she was operating a Ponzi-style scheme, taking money from new victims to pay for existing bookings or using money she had borrowed from friends and relatives. Some punters wound up stranded abroad when Barlow had not bothered to book a return flight, while others only discovered at the airport they did not have seats or that the booking had been cancelled because it had not been paid for. A thoroughly callous mother of two then pretended to have cancer to deflect blame when they complained. She even tricked her husband into believing she was terminally ill by faking hospital appointments and leaving snippets of hair on her bed to look as if it had fallen out. Barlow would also go through the charade of washing groceries on the doorstep so her family would think she was trying to minimize the impact of COVID on her bogus treatment. In one email to a customer who had inquired about getting a refund in May 2020, she replied, "Unfortunately, I've just found out my cancer has spread and it's gone to stage 3 to 4, it's in my bones and need to have chemo put into my spine to stop it from going into my brain. It's going to be pretty intense." The victim then backed off, replying, "I am so sorry to hear this, it's awful times for you." Even when complaining to police about being conned, one of her victims said, "It's a nightmare, she's going through some shit as well, I don't know why she's doing this, it's ridiculous." Asked by the call handler to explain more, the complainant said, "She's got cancer as well." Barlow, formerly of Stanley, County Durham, previously admitted theft, fraud and money laundering charges at Durham Crown Court. The amount stolen over 7 years was £2.6 million, causing a loss of over £1.2 million. She also stole £520,000 from her own mother, Susan Coleman, following the death of her father in 2015 after stealing her financial identity, raiding her bank account and covering her tracks by diverting her 64-year-old mother's mail. Judge Joe Kidd said Barlow convincing her mother that her cancer had returned, having previously been nursed through a bout before, and urging her to look after her husband Paul and their children if she died, was the most callous and calculated act. Detective Sergeant Alan Meehan, from Durham Police's Economic Fraud Unit, described Barlow's actions as appalling. She presented herself as being frail, used a crutch and wore a headscarf when she was arrested in September 2020. Investigators made checks on her health to ascertain if she was well enough to be questioned. Her medical records revealed she had never had cancer treatment. Mr. Meehan said, "It's a pretty callous approach to facilitating the fraud. She was using the cancer to delay answering questions. It's our understanding that the family believed she had cancer, and it was only as a result of her being arrested that we informed her family and they became aware." The detective said Barlow's husband was very surprised and shocked to find out the truth, as relatives had been taking her to hospital appointments. Mr. Meehan said, "When we attended her address, she had a headscarf, and when she was brought to custody, she also had a crutch." As the investigation progressed, it was identified she had utilized the cancer as a way of deflecting inquiries or people trying to recover funds. She told everybody, including family, she was suffering from cancer. When she was rearrested in July 2021, she was no longer pretending to have cancer and her hair had grown back in the second police mugshot. Lyne Barlow was jailed for 9 years.